Here we are at a new kitchen remodel job, and I'm going to explain what at this stage what we're doing with the plumbing and maybe a little bit of electrical. We're putting an island in this home where there's no walls around it, and it's going to be a freestanding island with no walls to run a vent pipe up. The existing plumbing actually had the same setup because there was no wall all the way up to the ceiling. So this is a vent loop that has to run back down into the floor and get to an outer wall to be vented properly. There's a special way that this has to be done in order for it to not fill up with water into the vent system and never drain right after that. You have to be able to drain that same vent system in case there would be some kind of a backup blockage. So really you need to have a licensed plumber in the state of Illinois to reroute this stuff in a different location. So we have to, since there's a finished basement here, we have to cut the floor out. And that's why these lines are cut right now, so we can pop this floor up and move all the pipes over into the right location and basically rebuild what they have here already. This is not something that most people can do on their own. If they're remodeling their own kitchen, they're allowed to, but it's not a very good idea unless you're very well versed in the plumbing codes and whatever, so you don't have those problems down the road. So here we are in a new kitchen remodel job that we have to reroute some plumbing and electrical because we're putting a freestanding island in the center of the kitchen. The kitchen that was here before had the same system for the vent pipe. There was no exterior wall that ran all the way up to the ceiling, so there was no place to put a normal vent system out for the drain. So that's why you have this loop system here that the vent actually runs back down into the floor, then runs into an outer wall and vents out. But in order to do that, there's some things that go under the floor to make sure that that vent system doesn't backfill with water and become nothing more than a trap that completely blocks the vent. So you have to have a drain off of that. So you really want to use someone that knows what they're doing, a licensed plumber, to reroute this, because it's not for the novice. It's somewhat of a complicated system, and you have to make sure that everything's going to drain. The elevations are right, the slopes are right. So we're going to basically take this same setup here, and it has to go into the cabinet over here. And there's not going to be even this tall of a wall over here on the island because it's got to be down in the cabinet, so it's got to be a little bit lower. And there's a lot of codes that go into making sure it's installed properly. We have to cut the floor up here, and that's why you see all the lines on the floor in order to move it, because the basement's finished and we don't have access below. It'd been nice if we had an unfinished basement to do this, but we don't. So that's what's going on there with the vents. We also have to do a lot of rewiring, and we're trying to be able to use as much of what's already here, because there's already circuits ran for the dishwasher and garbage disposal and the outlets and everything else. And you have to do that properly. You can't just connect wires in a wall and run a new one. You can't have concealed junction boxes. They have to be accessible. So you need to have somebody, not necessarily a licensed electrician, but you need to have someone that really knows what they're doing. And we're in the middle of that, trying to figure out the lighting system with using some of the same circuits for that also, which we will be able to do. But there are going to be a lot of can lights through here and 3 pendants over the island. So all this stuff has to move, but we'll be able to use most of the existing wiring for that. And for right now, that's about all we have. We're just in the middle of working on that, and we'll have more videos later.